Today I'm going to create a Bleach server. The way in which it's going to work is that I'm going to have one Linux VM connected to two buckets. I'm going to upload the files that I want to inspect to an input bucket. And I'm going to have a script, a service that is going to run, and it's going to check and inspect if that file is clean. If it is, then the file is going to be moved to the clean bucket. And if there's anything wrong found with the file, then I'm going to delete it immediately. So let's start. I'm going to start provisioning my infrastructure on main.tf. I'm going to start by creating my two buckets. I'm going to need an input bucket to upload my files to, and my clean bucket where the clean files are going to be moved to. Then I'm going to create a service account that's going to have the role of storage.objectadmin over the two buckets. And finally, I'm going to create a VM that's going to be connected to both buckets, and it's going to be run by the service account that we created. Then on provider.tf, I'm going to specify that this is going to be a GCP project. All good, let's run it. Open a terminal. And the resources were added. Now on my GCP console, I'm going to be able to inspect and see them. I can see my VM and I can see my buckets. Right now there's nothing in them. Nothing. I'm going to go to my VM instances page and I'm going to SSH into my machine. I'm in. I'm going to create a setup script that is going to install some tools. First, I'm going to set the user and a home directory. I'm going to update and upgrade my machine, and then I'm going to install ClamAV and a bunch of other tools that I'm going to need. After installing it, I'm going to start the service. Then I'm going to install the GCS view so that my machine can communicate with the buckets. And then I'm going to create the directories where I'm going to mount my buckets. Okay, exit. Give it permissions and run it. All done. Now I'm going to create a script that is going to inspect the files that I upload to my input bucket. First, I'm going to assign a variables pointing to where my buckets are going to be mounted. And I'm going to start an infinite loop that is going to scan and watch for all of the files in the input folder, and it's going to run a clam scan on them. And if they're clean, then they're going to be moved to the clean directory, else they're going to be deleted. Exit it. Since I wrote this file as root, I got to give it permission so that the user Fernandez Lucas Joe can run it. And now I'm going to turn the script into a service. The first thing that I specify is the unit block, not that interesting for us right now. Then the service block specifies which user is going to be running it and the script that we just created. And finally, the install block, also not that interesting for us right now. I'm going to start the service. I'm going to check its status and it's running all good. Now I'm going to check it with journalctl. And it's all good. Don't worry about those warnings. I can see the debug line that I sent. Now let's try to see if it works. I'm going to go to my buckets, my untrusted input. I'm just going to upload any file. In here I have two files. One of them is infected and the other is okay. As you can see, at the moment that I drop a new file on my bucket, I triggered a response. As you can see, it's clean and clean.txt was moved. That means that it's not going to be here anymore when I refresh the page. And I can see that it's going to be available on the trusted bucket. My script could successfully run an antivirus over a file and transfer it to another bucket. Now let me try the malicious one. Go back to the untrusted input. and I'm gonna drop this malicious file. I drop the file, immediately I trigger a response, scanning acar.com. It's infected and it got deleted. Wait, so if I refresh my page, I do not see it anymore. And if I go to my clean bucket, it's not here. Awesome, so the service is working as expected. Now, if you remember, I mounted the folders on my machine. Gonna switch back to my user. I can cd into the folder where the buckets are mounted. And in here, I can inspect the file that I uploaded and that was bleached by my script. That's how you can have a full bleaching pipeline. This was just a POC. Of course, your machine has to be much more secure, much safer, less permissive firewall rules, for example. Maybe you're not going to want to implement a public IP. And of course, you have to run other tools, not only ClamAV over your files, but you got the idea. That's the point. And that was the POC of a complete bleaching pipeline. Of course, you're going to need less permissive firewall rules, maybe a VM without a public IP. You're going to have to run other tools, not only ClamAV. But that's the point, that's the whole idea. You're going to upload untrusted files to a bucket, you're going to run a process over it, and if it's clean, you're going to move it to a clean bucket, and if it's not, you're going to delete it immediately. Other things that you could do, you can isolate the machine once you find a infected file. There are many possibilities, many addings, many things that you can do, but that's the basic. You got the idea.